What's something the average person thinks is illegal that actually isn't? Cops lying to you. US. They don't have to tell you they're a cop. They can say literally anything to extract information. Counting cards at a casino blackjack table. It's just a strategy. Nothing illegal about that. If casinos catch you, they can bar you from coming back, but you cannot be arrested. Driving with the interior light on in the car. Piracy. If you download, in most countries, it's illegal to distribute pirated material, but not to download it, mostly because the laws are a decade or two behind. Here in Canada, for instance, a copyright owner can send a warning notification to the internet provider and they're legally obligated to pass it on, but they have no obligation to punish you for it. I don't think any major providers here ban people. It doesn't affect them, and you're still paying them. I'm in Canada, and have gotten a few notices in the mail due to pirating movies. I can't remember the exact wording, but they say something along the lines of you have to pay X thousands of dollars to this company. There's no legal obligation to pay, but some people have ended up paying before. UK. Giving alcohol to someone under age 18. In a private residence, anyone aged 5 or over can drink alcohol. In Sweden, and maybe elsewhere, it is not illegal to try or succeed to escape from prison. In many European countries, the law takes into account if you are acting as any reasonable person would in that situation. The desire to escape is seen as reasonable. Recording someone on your phone in public. Ask a Karen, they will tell you, yeah, people like to throw around the whole two-party consent thing after googling for 15 seconds and finding out whether their state is on that list or not. But the caveat is that even if it is, there has to be an expectation of privacy to begin with. Standing in a parking lot yelling at someone isn't somewhere you can expect privacy, so it doesn't count. It's mostly to do with audio recording anyway. It is 100% legal for an underage person to buy homebrew equipment / ingredients and make their own alcohol. But I want to buy a small pack of non-alcoholic beer, but I can't. Refusing service, as long as it is not based on a protected class and isn't an essential service. If you walk into my store with no intention to buy or buy in the future, I can ask you to leave, and if you refuse, I can have you trespassed. I can kick you out for smelling bad, being rude, treating the staff disrespectfully, and for talking too loudly or with vulgar language. If you pay with a large bill or buy an expensive item with change, I can tell you to leave and come back with appropriate payment. Of course, many of these things are bad business practices, and your Google/Yelp reviews will reflect that, but they are generally legal, at least in the US. This is especially true in bars, where protecting the alcohol service license is of utmost importance. Anything that jeopardizes my liquor license is something you'll get 86'D for, and the law is generally on my side. On the civil court side of things, there are more gray areas. Unregistered firearms. In most states there is no such registry, even if gun owners were willing to do so. Even in the handful of states that have them, only some types of guns are required to be registered, usually pistols and assault rifles. It's just a Hollywood screenwriter line that is often used in cop TV shows. A few months back, someone asked r/Texas how to register their guns when they moved to the state. They were pretty astonished that the true answer is that you don't. Same with firearm manufacturing. You can make and build unregistered firearms aside from machine guns, but you cannot legally sell firearms without a certified, stamped serial number. Also with machine guns, in mind, pre-Banful Auto AK-47 for example, 1986 ban I believe, are completely legal to own if you have the $20K plus to afford one. In Germany, it's legal to run away from the police if they are chasing you, but only if you don't cause any accidents doing that. So this may vary state by state, but you are allowed here in the US to wait to pull over until it is safe, though I don't know the official wording on it. Not long ago there was a big stink because a cop pit maneuvered a van on the highway who had acknowledged the officer by turning on their hazards and staying in front of the cop in the right lane. They were looking for a safe place to pull over, or at the very least not attempting to run, and the cop got impatient and flipped their car. You are also allowed to continue driving if you do not feel the car behind you is a cop. For instance, an unmarked vehicle, you call 911 and tell them your location and that someone is attempting to pull you over and they can verify that it is or isn't an officer. Not filing taxes. At least in my country, you only have to file taxes if you owe money. If you don't need to file. However, you also don't get refunds if you don't file. So it's a double-edged sword. In the US, driving barefoot, absolutely zero states have a law against this. The rumor probably started because many states have a law saying you must be wearing unobstructing footwear that won't get in the way of pedal operation. So no driving in ski boots. It depends a lot by states and countries. For example, going out nude is illegal, but as long as your private parts are covered it is not. It doesn't matter if they are covered by cloth or paint. You can just not pay for things. I learned this working at a small business. Lots of people would just never pay and never return our calls. Let it get sent to collections. There's essentially nothing we can do about it because it's too much money to go to court to get them to pay. It'll hit your credit though. A lot of people think becoming a citizen of another country deprives you of the citizenship of your home country, particularly if you're a US citizen. All countries' laws are different, but most modern democracies don't care if you acquire another citizenship. Notable exceptions include Japan and the Netherlands. I'm a British and US citizen, neither country minds. My father had the same situation, and for him, it was a little more complicated than that. The US absolutely insisted he renounce his UK citizenship. It was in the oath he swore and everything. However, the UK told him he was asking because we were planning a long visit to the UK and he was wondering if he needed a visa, that they didn't care if he called himself Martian. He was British to them. Employers asking for vaccination status or asking anyone their vaccination status, all perfectly legal. People say, but it's a HIPAA violation. No, it is not. Your employer must treat it as confidential. They can't share it with anyone else without your permission. But it's perfectly legal to ask, or even require, that you show proof. In New Zealand, drinking alcohol while driving. It's illegal to be drunk, but okay to have a beer while driving. I will often have my first beer in the car on the way to get takeaways. Leaving a child at home alone. There is no specific age, only a requirement that the child is responsible enough to be left alone for a reasonable duration that is appropriate for the child's age. Source: I was a 911 operator in Michigan. There is no hard set age, but the general consensus was that 8 is a gray area. 5 was obviously too young to wait for mom or dad to get home from work. It's completely legal for a woman to be topless in public in New York City, and I believe total nudity in public is legal in Washington or Oregon or possibly both. This is actually a huge myth. The first few hours of a missing person is crucial. If you think someone is missing, call the emergency line. By the time 24 hours is over, the person is most likely dead. Once you think someone is missing, call the emergency line immediately. Don't wait. Like I said, the first few hours someone is missing is crucial, and the more time that goes by, the less of a chance they survive/are found. Cannibalism in some places in the US. The only thing illegal is desecration of corpses and murder. So you could eat someone's arm, as long as they're alive and have their permission. Giving cops the middle finger. It's protected under freedom of speech. Doesn't mean it's smart to do, and they won't find some reason to make your day hell, but it's legal law.